What's up, everybody? It's Fat Man Buddha here with another video, and this one's gonna be uh like the original video, like the first video that I put up, which is basically just a discussion that I feel needs to be had. And the discussion we're gonna have is the unpopular, uncomfortable topic of reparations and what exactly reparations means for my people and what exactly it means for America, so to speak. Now, before we dive into this conversation, I thought that it was important that we address the white elephant in the room because this has been an ongoing uh, debate. And at first, it was just a debate between us and them, and then they convinced some boulets to join the conversation to try and convince us to not uh, look for our reparations. Let's not forget that before Johnny Cochran died, he assembled a team of our people to go forth and uh, find ways to seek reparations. So um, these boulets have been told to tell you that you need to claim your nationality. You need to have a unified vote. You need to do this. You need to do that. And it's just been confusion after confusion after confusion. And it's just really been said and done to discourage people from the ongoing seeking of justice as a whole. Um, They have been telling people that, oh, if you ask for reparations, you're just keeping up the narrative of slavery and the narrative of racism. They've told people that if you ask for your reparations, that you are a black supremacist, which is the most asinine thing I've ever heard in my life. Is right up there with reverse racism. Like you can't have an adult conversation with these people because you have to understand that these people are nothing but children and demons. And we keep looking for a peaceful solution, but in all actuality, there's only one solution to be had, and that is to wipe them off of the face of the earth. And that is, once we all agree on that solution, then we can move forward with that process. But until then, this is the last peaceful solution that can be had. You've been told that if you get your reparations, you're just being lazy. If you get your reparations, it will be unfair to the white American people. If you get your reparations, um, just a whole plethora of negative things to make it seem like if you get your reparations, you're just being a victim. When in all actuality, that's the furthest thing from the truth. Getting your reparations is nothing more than you getting justice. That's all it is. That's all reparations is. All reparations is you getting your justice for everything that's happened. The first thing that these boulets and that these homunculus chimeras, which are white people, are going to tell you is that, oh, we shouldn't have to pay for something that happened 400 years ago. I'm not talking about reparations just for 400 years ago. I'm talking about reparations for 80 years ago, 70 years ago, 60 years ago. Um, let's not forget that 1800s, in the 1800s to the 1930s and 1950s, 1960s, let's not forget that the U.S. government as well as the homunculus chimeras, which are white people. All of them participated in destroying our neighborhoods. All of them participated in destroying our towns, our cities, our businesses, our schools. Um, we gave them what they wanted. They wanted segregation. We gave them segregation. And when we got away from them, we did fine. We built businesses. We built schools. We built railroads. We built hospitals. We built houses. We had whole lands that was just for us. That's it. And I'm not just talking about Tulsa, Oklahoma. I'm talking about all over America. We're going to be getting into that as well. All the different lands that are rightfully ours, and that's what it means, justice. Because you can't sit here and cry that you want segregation, and then when you get segregation and you see that no one wants to deal with you, because what they won't tell you is that not only did we only trade our dollars within our own communities, we also traded with the Mexicans. We were preparing to trade with the Jamaicans and the Haitians. We were preparing to start trading with the South Americans. We were preparing to cut them out wholeheartedly out of our lives. And when the homunculus chimeras realized that without us, they had no true wealth because nobody wanted to deal with them. Why would you want to deal with children and demons who want nothing more than destruction? Why would you want to deal with people who want nothing more than to have a false sense of superiority? You understand? So I'm not talking about what happened 400 years ago with slavery. I'm not talking about what happened some 700 years ago when the first invasion happened. You understand? I'm talking, we can go as recent as just 10 years ago. You understand? We can go as far as 20 years ago. There was somebody who 20 years ago built his own community. He was getting his own hospital, his own school, and he did all that without asking or seeking for reparations. He just did it. I'm gonna find his video and I'm gonna put his video on here. And as soon as the homunculus chimeras found out, they attacked him. They burnt down his town. All of his members were dispersed or arrested. He was arrested, and they destroyed his. They destroyed everything. So for all the people who want to keep up the narrative that we're asking for something that happened 400 years ago, we're asking about stuff that happened in the late 1850s and the early 1900s. You understand? Like I said, from 1845 to the 1950s, that whole 100 years of destruction, that whole 100 years of destruction has to be addressed. You understand? We're not talking about just a slavery. We're talking about a continuous onslaught of destruction against our people. We're talking about justice. And it's getting to a point where we should no longer entertain the conversation that they want to have, the debate that they want to have. All these house niggas that want to side with them, let them side with them. Because I guarantee you, as soon as we start getting reparations of land, minerals, and water rights, these house niggas are going to be the first one in line. You understand? They're going to be the first ones in line just so they can sell it back to these homunculus chimeras that rule over them. We need to have, uh, I'm not saying ignore their conversation. I'm saying don't engage with it. You can pay attention to an enemy without engaging with that enemy because you must forever realize that that is your enemy. All these homunculus chimeras, these boulets, these house niggas who keeps on saying that, oh, I'm not oppressed. The homunculus chimeras have never oppressed me. I go golfing with them. I eat with them. That's fine. That's for you. We're not talking about you. We're talking about justice for our people. You understand? And our people aren't fooled just because a few house niggas can go golfing, just because a few house niggas can eat with them and sit with them. That doesn't mean that you're really a part of them. That will never mean that. You understand? So all you're doing is you're just being a distraction. You want to sit here and say that they've never oppressed you, fine. We're not sitting here saying that we're the victim. We're sitting here saying that we demand justice. That's it. No one's saying that we're a victim. We're saying that we want justice. You understand? And you don't have to be a victim to want justice. You just have to be prepared to get justice any way you can. Honestly, like I said before, the only way I see us truly getting justice is to exterminate them off the face of the earth. It's going to be easier for us to exterminate them off the face of the earth than them exterminating us. They can't use their nuclear weapons, so all that's gone. Bombs, guns, everyone has those now. That's why they're trying to take them so bad. There is only one thing for us to do, in my opinion, and that is to wipe them off of the face of the earth. We've tried every other peaceful means there is. We've tried Christianity, we've tried Islam, we've tried Buddhism, we've tried having sex with them, we've tried praying with them, we've tried segregating ourselves from them, we've tried every peaceful means there is, and there is no more peaceful means left. We must destroy them. That's just how I feel. We've tried every other peaceful means, and now there's nothing left but to destroy them. For all these Christians who want to open up their mouth and say, well, that's not what God wants, you forget that God said that He is a vengeful God. That's the first thing Christians want to erase from their minds is that God said that He's a vengeful God. God rose more hell than the devil throughout the entire Bible, and Christians want to ignore that left and right. Before y'all even think about bringing up Jesus, let's not forget that Jesus beat people ass outside the church. So, with that being said, God was not about turning the other cheek. Let that be known. God is not about turning the other cheek. He didn't turn the other cheek with Ramesses. He didn't turn the other cheek when it came down to Nimrod. He didn't turn the other cheek when it came down to Gilgamesh, who was hunting down Jesus. He didn't turn the cheek when it came down to the people who captured Solomon. What did he tell Solomon to do? And when his enemies captured him, he prayed to God and said, God, if you give me my strength one more time, I'll do what needs to be done. God gave him his strength one more time, and he destroyed everything. He brought the entire, even if it meant that he died along with them, at least the next generation won't have to suffer. You understand? So let's do away with this whole false narrative of turn the other cheek. Then they're gonna, I'm telling you all the things that these homunculus chimeras are gonna raise when we all unify to get this whole conversation going in the right direction. Because once the conversation gets started, the whole energy of our people will flow in that direction. You understand? Then they're gonna say, well, this isn't what MLK would have wanted. They killed MLK. They killed MLK because his last speech was, I feel ashamed that I've integrated my people into a burning house. He knew full well that what he did was wrong, and he admitted as such. We need to stop engaging in distraction conversations, and we need to start putting our energy in progressive conversations. And the most progressive thing we can put our energy into is reparations. Do they call the Japanese people victims when they receive their reparations? No. Do they call the Israeli Nazis victims when they continuously get their reparations? These Nazis get almost $2 billion a year from us without anybody even knowing it. You understand? Then they're going to say, well, if we give you reparations, then you can't use our companies anymore. That's fine. That's perfect. That's exactly what we need. We need to not deal with you anymore. What they're trying to say is that we lack the mind to create, regardless of the fact that we are the number one inventors in America, in the world, despite the fact that we've created everything that uh, they use now, from the light bulbs to the clothes you wear to the TV screen to the internet itself. We have a plethora of inventions. A plethora of inventions. Hell, we invented the cell phone. Think about that. Think about how fearful they are because all these homunculus chimeras who know history know that they never created a single thing. They never created a single thing. The first open heart surgery that was successful was done by our people. They never created a single thing. So imagine how fearful they are. All of their museums, the Smithsonian itself is filled with our artifacts, not artifacts from Africa. Think about this. Think about how fearful they are to lose everything, including their entire identity. When you built your entire identity on being nothing more than a thief and a liar, that will scare you when the creators that you have been stealing from leaves. If we were to segregate ourselves right now, announce to the world that we are no longer dealing with the homunculus chimeras, that we reclaim not only the East Coast but the entire Southern Plain, and we give the homunculus chimeras all the northwestern states, then they still wouldn't be able to fill up anything. But us will be able to fill the South. We'll be able to fill the entire East Coast. Imagine how good it will feel to knock down all those apartment buildings and start putting up houses again. Just imagine how good that would feel. Imagine how good it would feel to have our own community again, how to have our to promote ourselves in positive light again, to control our music, control our entertaining, control our news, control our world as a whole. You understand? And all we have to do is take the first steps, and we've taking the first steps. We want reparations for the destruction of the Rainbow Movement. We want reparations for the destruction of the Black Panther Movement. We want reparations for the destruction of the Philadelphia Movement. And all these things happened in the 80s, the 70s. You understand? They want you to feel like, oh, you're asking for something that happened so long ago, but we're not. We can start, like I said, we can start from 1845 to 1950, that whole 100 year of destruction. This has been an ongoing, constant onslaught. What is one of the rules of reparation? That you will not repeat the offense. See, you have to understand the rules of reparations to fully grasp what we are supposed to get from reparations. And what we're supposed to get from reparations is a agreement that there will not be a repeated offense. So we have to look at 400 years ago. We have to look at 100 years ago and make sure that they don't repeat the offense. This is another reason why they can never fully agree to reparations, because they must repeat the offense. And what is the offense? The offense is the attack and the usurp of our government. You understand? Because we segregated from them, which means that we had our own government, and they usurped that government by forcing us off our land, by killing our leaders. You understand? They have to pay reparations for destroying our governments. They have to pay reparations for not only stealing our land, but poisoning our land, stripping our land of minerals, stripping our land of nutrition, stripping our land of the bodies that were underneath the land. They used to eat us. Never forget that these creatures, these things, these homunculus chimeras, they used to eat us. They still eat us. They have bodies and bones that they refuse to return, not just to us, but to Africa, to South America. They refuse to return these things. It's not just about the wealth that comes with reparations. It's about the responsibility of governance that comes with reparations. It's about the responsibility to build up your own community. Getting reparations doesn't make you a victim. Getting reparations makes you responsible. Because now that you have it, you are responsible to never let this happen again. It's not, we cannot trust them on any agreement. They've broken every agreement they've ever been in. They have broken every agreement. I want you to hear what I'm saying. They have broken every agreement they have ever been in. Every single agreement. Every every single agreement. This is not their land. The first thing homunculus chimeras are gonna say, well, we took it, so we should have the right to be here. That's not how it works. Especially not for this grand scale of reparations that I'm talking about. It's one thing for you to be here and you take your piece, and then we have our piece, and we just find a way to make it work. But we're talking about an ongoing usurpance of our people. You've kidnapped our children and brainwashed them. You've killed our elders, and you refuse to let their souls rest in peace. You ate our ancestors. You destroyed every monument you can find, and what monument you can't destroy, you have locked away in the Smithsonian Museum. You've lied about our history. You've lied about where we come from. You've lied about the war itself. You've used us for experiments. You've used us for uh, just collateral damage. And first thing these homunculus and boulets are going to say when they hear all this is, oh, you see how he's just continuously crying victim. He's continuously crying victim. No one's crying victim. I'm crying justice. Let's not forget that the Tuskegee experiment, was that 400 years ago or was that just 100 years ago? You understand the usurpance of health. You understand the destruction of our industrial period. I'm not talking about just with CJ, Madam Walker. Like I said, we used to own railroads. We used to own railroads. We used to own hospitals. We used to own our own trade schools and universities, and they leveled and destroyed all of it. No one's talking about the HBCUs. That came after. That's what they allow the Boulets to do after. I'm talking about all the schools that they destroyed up to that point of the HBCU because the HBCUs aren't that old. Let's talk about all the cities that are under dams that they purposely flooded to destroy the history. You understand? The entire East Coast and South Coast is ours. The entire country is ours, and they can't deny it. They said that one of the conditions for reparations is you have to know your history. And as soon as we started claiming our history as Native Americans, everyone has something to say about it, especially the fucking Boulets. The Boulets want to be the first ones to sit here and say, oh, well, you can't be mad at them for claiming that they were the Egyptians if you're going to turn around and claim that you're the Native Americans, which you're not. How would you know? Those are the conversations that we don't engage in. Because the quicker you stop engaging with nonsense conversations, is the quicker you gain legitimacy, not just with the world, but within yourself. It's too much evidence. It's too much evidence to point to us being here long before these homunculus chimeras invaded. You understand? So, like I said, reparations is more than just us getting financial uh, benefits. Financial aid is about us getting our land back. Financial aid is about us getting segregation back so we can govern ourselves. It's about getting segregation so we can be a benefit to ourselves without being forcibly a benefit to someone else who isn't us. That's all. It's about justice. It's about taking what's ours. And like I said, if this doesn't work, we have no choice but to kill them. We have absolutely no choice but to kill them because we've tried every other peaceful thing. We've tried every other peaceful thing, and this is the last peaceful thing we can try. And I know they're not going to give it. I know they're not going to give it to us, which is going to solidify their destruction. You feel me? They have no reason to withhold anything. What are they going to say? oh, um, America is $3 trillion in debt. That didn't stop y'all from going to war. That didn't stop y'all from destroying every Arab state in the Middle East. That didn't stop y'all from bombing Germany. That didn't stop y'all from preparing for a war with Russia. That didn't stop y'all from developing new military sites all over the world. So don't sit here and try to bring up debt now that we're saying we want what's ours. You can't bring up debt when you've constantly spent trillions of dollars, billions of dollars to put yourself in debt going to war. You have money for war, but you don't have money for peace. That makes no sense. That makes no sense whatsoever. You can't have money for one and not the other. So, this is their last chance. This is literally their last chance, or otherwise, we're going to destroy everything because we've tried every other peaceful means and they still kill us. They still refuse to address the problem, which is the Nazism that is in the US government as well as the local government of these homunculus chimeras. They still refuse to address all these house niggas and boulets that go along with this program to stop seeking justice. Why would you stop seeking justice just because people say that you're being a victim? We can always do it the other way. We can always take everything we can and kill them, annihilate them. Every man, woman, child, and dog. Nate Turner did it. The Seminoles did it. The Gualagichis did it. You understand? The Choctaws did it. The Arawaks did it. The Comanches did it. The Apaches did it. And that forced Abraham Lincoln to sign the Emancipation Proclamation. That cracker didn't free anybody. We freed ourselves because we told them we would rather see this country burnt to the ground than see our children in chains. Don't let them feed you the narrative of Abraham Lincoln and Martin Luther King Jr. Martin Luther King Jr. himself was a boule. He was a Morehouse Freemason. You understand? They want you to celebrate being subservient rather than you celebrate being rebellious. If you celebrate Martin Luther King, you're just celebrating being subservient. Why the hell are you letting people get beat? Malcolm X said, raise an army, demand justice. Malcolm X never once spoke as a victim. He spoke as somebody seeking justice. And we need to stop letting them control the narrative of the conversation. We're not coming from a position of being victims. We're coming from a position of we want justice. Not just from 400 years ago, but from 100 years ago. From 70 years ago, 50 years ago, 40 years ago, 10 years ago. You understand this ongoing onslaught of nothing but death, murder, and the usurpance of our industrial program and as well as our governmental programs. You should have no problem, especially with what's about to come. You should have no problem annihilating these people. The next generation has no problem. All they need to know is who the real enemy is. That's why they're trying to steer that conversation so hard back to black on black crime. Stop letting them steer the conversation and see who your enemy is. They want to talk about our music. Who's in control of the music? These Nazis are in control of the music. Who's in control of the imagery that we see? These Nazis are in control of the imagery we see. Because who controls Hollywood? Nazis, Jews. Who controls the music industry? Nazis, Jews. Who controls the education system? Nazis, Jews. Who controls the healthcare system? Nazis, Jews. Who controls the housing industry? Nazis. And now these Nazis have been selling the housing industry to the Chinese. So demanding reparations is not saying that I'm a victim. Demanding reparations is saying, get your cracker ass off my land because you have no rights to sell any parts of my land. Not one part of it because it's not yours. We demand our gold back. We demand our emeralds back, our sapphires, our steel, our copper. We demand it all back. All these Freemasons who have sold you out. What have these black Freemasons done? Nothing. What have these black Muslims done since the death of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and the Honorable Malcolm X? Not a damn thing but build mega churches. What have these black Christian leaders done other than tell you to let them beat your ass? Nothing. They make millions of dollars in a black church. They can't even put it back in their community. Why? Because they have to be Freemasons to be a contributor of the black churches. To build a black church, you have to be a Freemason. And I dare anybody to tell me I'm wrong. Because anybody who has common sense will understand that church and state is separate, which means church doesn't have to pay taxes, which means that you cannot benefit or prosper from that church other than housing. A preacher can stay in a church. Why? Because church and state is separate. Holy men sleep in churches all the time. Look at the Catholic Church. You can take that money and give it back to the black community. You could have been had hospitals. You could have been had schools. You could have been had industrial businesses growing from the millions of dollars that you put in black churches. But because all these black church leaders are Freemasons, they give up the right to do something for their people. What has the Prince Hall Freemasons done other than they haven't even had a parade? Stokely Carmichael was the last true Prince Hall Freemason that was trying to do something for their damn people. And they killed his ass. You understand? Like I keep telling people, it is the Freemasons versus the Free My Sons. You understand? What did Moses go and tell Ramesses? God says, let his people go, free my sons. You understand? And when Ramesses told God no, did God turn the other cheek? No. God rose all types of holy hell upon Egypt. So if it's okay for God to raise holy hell for the freedom of his people, then why aren't his children doing the same thing? Like I said, I didn't want to make this video too long. These next series of videos is gonna be uh, the conversation of reparations and segregation, because we cannot have one without having the other. We cannot have a segregation without first receiving our reparations, and we cannot properly manage our reparations, which is our land, our hospitals, our schools, and our self-governance, without being segregated from the enemies that would usurp all those rights. So to have segregation, we must have reparations. To have reparations, we must have segregation. Stop engaging in counterproductive conversations. You're not a victim just because you want justice. You're not a victim because you demand the return of what is yours. If you were a victim, you would still be in chains to this day, and you're not. Stop letting all these house niggas direct the conversation where these homunculus chimeras want it to go. If these house niggas don't want to agree to reparations, then you segregate yourself from them and let them go be with these crackers. Let them go. Who cares about them? Like I said, I didn't want to make this video too long because this is just the introduction video. You're not a victim. You're a survivor. You understand? Your people weren't victims. They were fighters. And it was because of these house niggas that they lost. How did Little Bighorn lose that war? They'll never tell you the true story about how Little Bighorn lost that war. Little Bighorn lost that war because one of the children from his tribe was kidnapped and brainwashed and sent back to that tribe as an adult. And he killed Little Bighorn from the inside. Stop dealing with these house niggas. They've been using house niggas ever since they invaded. If they use a child from Little Bighorn's own tribe to kill him, you know they have no shame. You know they have no shame. So why engage in conversations with them that is counterproductive to the progression of our people? Segregation and reparation. Y'all be blessed, man.
So not only do you have to free the land and help to liberate the rest of the planet Earth for political power again, you'll have to do it so that all humanity can once again get back on its proper course. And we can live life as it's supposed to be lived. Become more godlike. The object of this knowledge is to be a reflection of yourself in the mirror of history. And when you look in that mirror, you will see God, because each one of us are in the image of the Creator, the Ancient of Days, with the lamb woolly hair and the color of amber. And as Jeremiah said, he looked like the pitch of oven. Each one of us are reflections. When we look in the mirror, we see God. God shining forth from us. And if you truly believe in the Creator, then you know that you cannot accept a life other than the highest and the best that you can get out of it.